Sonia Rhodes, a dedicated, independent medical researcher with over 29 years experience, had a personal interest in what I was doing. Her brother, husband, and even her 19-year-old son struggled with weight loss and were sick and tired of the failed diets and the health risks. Sonia was one of those rare people who exuded charisma, warmth, and intelligence. When we first met, she greeted me with a warm hug and a big smile. "Your research is completely correct," she said. "We all know that skinny person that never seems to put on weight. Well, they aren't special, they don't have a secret, they're just not leptin resistant yet. You see, we are all affected by EDCs, endocrine disrupting chemicals, at different rates based on our body type. That's why some people are hungrier and have a higher BMI more than others, and why you, Morgan, are only about 40 pounds overweight, but your wife is far more. In fact, women are affected by EDC-induced leptin resistance worse than men. The human body has not evolved to synthesize its own detoxifying nutrients to clear out this new threat. The EDCs, they've only been around for the past 70 years or so. So the only way to do this is with this incredible plants you've discovered. I'd love to help," she said. So Sonia took Ashraf's recipe of 11 natural ingredients and tested hundreds of different formulas and gauged what happened to leptin resistance. It took 6 months of research, but eventually Sonia found the perfect combination. Plus, Sonia had found another 11 amazing nutrients that would boost the power of the recipe even further. So you benefit not only from the detoxifiers, milk thistle, jujube seed, barberry, alfalfa, taraxacum leaves, and 6 more as we've already mentioned, but newly discovered detoxifying ingredients like an acetyl cysteine burdock root, choline, chicory root, methionine, feverfew, plus 5 more. That, if taken alone, would have little effect, but when formulated together and consumed once a day, would produce remarkable results. In total, 22 plant extracts and nutrients made this plant formula twice as powerful than the original recipe consumed by Ashraf and his family and friends. Sonia stated, "This new breakthrough addresses the one true cause of leptin resistance, endocrine disrupting chemicals. When you correct and target these toxins, you can naturally support your ability to feel full and satisfied after eating, so you will no longer feel hungry and will effortlessly drop pounds of fat. You'll support a healthy heart and blood sugar as your leptin resistance and food consumption is addressed." Nothing like this had ever been attempted before in the history of weight loss, and I literally couldn't wait to get started. And the best part was, because the proprietary blend is 100% natural and the facility where we produced our capsules is FDA registered and GMP certified, we didn't have to wait for approval. We just needed one willing patient to put the protocol to the test. And of course, that patient was Grace. It took every penny we had to produce a few weeks worth of our vegetable capsules for Grace to take once a day with a glass of water. Honestly, I could see how skeptical Grace was the first time I gave her a glass of water and a tiny plant-filled capsule. She looked at me like I was crazy. Still, I had to beg her to keep taking them once a day. She thought it was just another waste of time. After 7 days, she'd lost about 3 pounds, but we thought nothing of it. Until later that evening, when something remarkable happened. We just finished dinner, and I handed Grace the bowl to grab a second portion of food, a habit we'd gotten used to since she gained the weight. "No, I'm fine, thanks. I'm full," she said. What? I hadn't heard that in 10 years. We both looked at each other in shock, then burst out laughing. Remember, belly fat is simply a symptom of leptin resistance. Well, since she had tackled her leptin resistance, her cravings vanished, and the weight loss started melting off her like butter in a microwave. And still, she was eating cake, pizza, chocolate, and all her favorite foods. She didn't force herself to stop eating. She wanted to. She was full and satisfied after just a couple of bites of her favorite delicious treats. The way our bodies are naturally meant to function. It was like a gastric band had been fitted, and each day following was like a dream, Every morning, her weight dropped. 1 pound, 2 pounds, 2 pounds, 1 pound. But the best was yet to come. Day 21 was a sunny Sunday morning, and I'll remember it forever. I woke up to the loudest scream I've ever heard. Scared, I instinctively reached for my handgun in the nightstand, until the screams turned to laughter. I ran to the bathroom, where I saw Grace standing on the scales, tears rolling down her face. But this time, they weren't tears of guilt, of shame. They were tears of happiness, of joy. And soon enough, she was 62 pounds lighter, going from this to the slim and sexy lady I'm proud to call my wife today. Every single trace of her pregnancy fat had disappeared, and every day she was safely shedding pure belly fat, arm fat, chin fat. Her love handles disappeared. She was so excited to show me her jeans, falling off her hips in a way they hadn't in 25 years. Plus, she had so much more energy. She was sleeping better, she supported new healthy joints, and a pain-free body. Even her hair seemed thicker, fuller, and shinier than it had. Her fears of worsening health vanished. When we saw Dr. Matthews, he couldn't believe his eyes. He was speechless that she had lost all that weight, achieved it all by herself, naturally and safely, and without any stress. That evening, we threw all her diet food in the trash. What a great feeling. It was like a time machine taking us back 10 years before this nightmare began. But the most amazing thing was watching Grace's stomach, watching the belly fat she's been fighting for years and years shrink away to nothing, until one day I came home and saw her walking around the house in a sports bra and shorts, her beautiful flat belly on display. I was a little afraid to touch her at first, afraid she'd tell me not to. But when I wrapped my arms around her, she melted, tilted her head so I could kiss her neck, then smiled at me and told me to meet her in the bedroom. It was the most amazing, passionate night of my life, as we lay there naked, cuddling and laughing in love again, in a way we hadn't been for a long time. I had a huge smile across my face. I'd done it. I'd saved my wife. Grace had broken free from the cycle of leptin resistance. She was back in control of her own hunger. Neither of us could believe it. I was desperate to get the formula out to as many people as possible. But Sonia warned me that one person wasn't proof that it worked, and she was right. It may have worked for Grace, but would it work for everyone? I wanted to see if the formula would work on people who were suffering the most with uncontrolled hunger and weight gain. I decided to post ads online and in local newspapers asking for volunteers who might be willing to put our fat formula to the test. They had to be over 40 years old, overweight, and unable to lose weight no matter their diet or how much they exercised, tired, hungry, and fed up. After just 10 days, we had 45 people suffering from varying degrees of weight gain to put it to the test. The results were way more incredible than any of us could ever have imagined. Without exception, and within just a few weeks, all 45 volunteers reported dramatic drops in their hunger and cravings, and in turn, their weight. The average weight loss was 53 pounds. Energy levels soared. Dangerous visceral fat around organs vanished. Brain fog lifted. Aches and pains subsided. Stress disappeared. Sex drive returned and rocketed. They supported new healthy hearts, arteries, and blood pressure. Many reported seeking their abs for the very first time in their lives. A total of 97% of participants went on to lose over 59 pounds of fat. The other 3% lost over 40 pounds, but were no less overjoyed at the weight loss and health benefits they'd achieved. I received emails, phone calls, and text messages from people overwhelmed. Stuart C. Tried it out for myself. I used to take naps all day. I was that tired. I had sleep apnea too. I now have more energy. I'm no longer hungry all day, every day. And I've gone down 77 pounds. I feel supple and flexible for the first time in decades. Thank you so much. Audrey H. writes, I feel free again for the first time in 20 years. I used to have the lowest confidence and felt so isolated by my weight. Now I feel light and my joints feel so silky smooth to walk on. I've lost 62 pounds and it's all thanks to being back in control of my hunger. Thank you. Mary W. said, I was desperate to lose weight. I have been using this solution for 3 months since I started. I no longer have sugary cravings, or carb cravings, especially at night. I'm sleeping better, and I've been dropping 8 inches on my waist. My husband has even been complimenting my butt. I feel complete again, and I'm expecting my first child this winter. Gabriella L. wrote, I've lost 13 kilograms. My job as a real estate manager means I have to do a lot of walking, and I hated it. Walking up hills, getting sweaty and breathless and feeling heavy in front of my colleagues. Now I zoom up the hills, I feel so light and energetic. Lewis R. wrote me this. I used to be a food addict. It's crazy, I didn't realize how much my hunger affected my weight until it was gone. I feel like I've had a gastric bypass surgery. I've lost 54 pounds, my energy increased and my appetite decreased. I have a decreasing desire for food, especially sugar. My daughter offered me a sweet treat, and I was able to say no. I had no strong desire for it. Previously, I would have pounced on any sugary treat. This was it. We'd done it. We developed a natural, clinically proven treatment for addressing even the worst cases of uncontrolled belly fat.